Good morning, pineapple.
I mean, come on. These three.
Listen, I'm telling you, I'm going to share with you.
Wait, let me hit the note. It's coming.
Oh, sorry. Ooh.
The whistle notes just kill me. I mean, if I could, not I'm not an Ariana Grande, but holy crap! Holy crap!
We run this morning. There's a little thing that I want to share with you, and it's called I think
it's called.
It's called. Oops! Wait, hold on, please hold. But what it is, while I'm searching for it, is it's called chatjams.ai. CHAT jams.ai. And the reason I think it's so great is because, I'm running and I love Christmas. So I asked it to make me a playlist to help me run. And it has the jingle jog. And we run with volume like we're dorks. So we run so everybody can hear us, like those cars that go through that celebrate. Like we always have it loud so we can both hear it. And we're sitting there like, all I want for Christmas is you at 6:30 in the morning, and we're in the dark, like running.
So you have what? Like a clip-on sort of Bluetooth speaker? Is that what you're doing?
No, I think my husband put it in, and I actually have a weird thing for runners, so you hold it. So we're enjoying it, and it's hilarious.
My earbuds are my over the ear because I have misshapen ears. Here's the TMI of the morning, everyone. So
what does it show again?
My inside of my ears, some way, shape, or form, are misshapen. So like Apple earbuds don't stay in my ears. Like I'll put them in and then they fall immediately out. So I have ones that are over the ear, and then go right in, and those work very well for me. But no one hears the music, and so when I'm running, I will start to sing, or if I'm at a red light, waiting to cross the street to keep going, I'm my little booties jamming up, and it cracks me up because I know people are driving by look at that guy, he's enjoying himself.
I use Open Run by Shocks, the bone conducing headphones, and they have ones that you can use while you're swimming.
What?
Swear.
What's it called?
It's Open Run by Shocks. SHOKZ. Shocks. So I use it because I have really small ear holes too, so I can't use those. And I had the over the head,
No, now nobody said my ear holes were small. I said they were misshapen. They're half a canyon is what I think the problem is. To be honest,
you think they're too big? You think it's the opposite? You think you put it?
You have petite ears. I have elephant ears. I get it.
Little,
thank you.
Tiny little. Yeah, they're embarrassing. I mean, they still work. No. I think that's why I'm so loud, because maybe they don't. I
think the hearing is going. And so usually when people start talking louder, it's because they don't hear as well. That's the telltale sign. Haven't you ever seen that?
Listen, yes. I still don't have my mug. I ordered it. I think that's
just realizing that I'm mirrored. I don't know why.
Did I send it to your address? I'll order it.
Why is it like this? Why don't you talk to Jamie? It's
Jamie, where's my mug?
She ordered this mug and it has not shown
up.
Or
a water bottle. I'll figure it out. Maybe I didn't, because you know me.
Now I did just see.
Oh.
Jamie said you didn't order. You're trying to get it for free.
I am.
Well,
my mug.
Jamie, just send it to her.
I just want to show you this.
That is a cool one,
isn't it? So this is actually the Waco skyline. Skyline is being generous.
Yes.
And last week they had the Cocoa Crawl.
Where's Chip and JoJo's hotel?
That's right there. Well, those are the silos.
Yep. And where's the hotel?
We're going to pretend it's right there. Oh my God. Too much.
Oh. Have you gone into that hotel yet? That's what I want to know.
Yes. So I've gone to the hotel. and they have a really nice patio, and it's gorgeous, and the food was pretty good.
Not great.
It's like, I don't know. I think I got salmon. I don't remember. I just hate it. Like, there's some things that we just don't have to do all that. And I think salmon's one of those things where it's like, please stop. Just give me some good salmon, maybe a little butter sauce.
Are you by the water? I mean, should we be doing that much seafood? Come on.
At all. Completely, fully landlocked. That's why we keep getting mad when we're in Vegas and they keep giving us tuna tartare.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, unless you're Vegas, because they like same day ship stuff. Same day.
Mm-hmm.
Same day. And they pay top dollar for it. So that's why your hotel rooms in Vegas are $536 a night.
Do you remember when first of all, I remember when you couldn't go in unless you were 18, and my parents lovingly left me in the lobby with my sister and my brother. And I thought they were going to, and at MGM, when they used to have a literal lion chained to the.
Yes. Do you remember that? Why are we so afraid of everything? We had white tigers over at Mirage that ate people once in a while. It wasn't all the time.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, just
once in a while.
What is wrong with people? Nobody tried to correct that.
Which was the one that got attacked? Siegfried or Roy? One of them got attacked by those white tigers. Somebody I know somebody remembers this. It was terrible. It was awful, but it didn't happen that often. So I don't know why we had to get rid of the white tigers. They were cool.
I mean, why was it the tiger's fault?
Right. Listen, let me tell you something. If I'm in a cage all day and you come in and want to like knock me around, I'm biting you.
I'm eating your face.
I'm telling you. That's just how it is.
Thank you. On the warning. You've been warned.
That's it. I don't want to hear from PETA. Everybody leave me alone.
Don't at me. You come over here with your tiger. It's on you. That's on you, bro. That's on you.
Totally. It's funny. I was going to I have my Buff First coffee mug and I forgot this morning. So my mom found another one. If you remember a couple weeks ago when I had like the petite mug that was my grandfather's, my mom found another one that was from Christmas 1987 for John Wanamaker's, which was the department store that I used to work for, and my dad. And it was a little holiday mug with Rudy the Bear on it. It is these mugs. I don't know what happened. It is a telltale sign from back in the 80s, how the size of those coffee mugs to what everybody's coffee mugs are now.
They were not thirsty back then.
No.
I mean, it was just like
little cups.
Like four sips.
Little cups. That cup, honestly, like at least 2 fit into this, at least, if not 3, I would say.
Like literal, remember orange juice glasses?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We'd have them. I mean, they were like this big.
Yep.
Like the pimento cheese jar. They were like tiny.
We used to do the Welch's. Did you do the Welch's grape jelly jars?
Yes, we did that too.
Yep.
But my mom was that mom that had the pitcher with the oranges around it and the matching orange.
Yes. Listen, she was in good company. Lots of people had that.
Right? She was very.
You had to have the set. You had to have the set.
My mom was always on trend, which, it explains a lot.
I mean, you're right. I wonder who she passed that along to.
No idea, but
I know with my little microphone now clipped to my lapel.
Yeah, well, I do
want to make sure. Can we do 30 seconds on fences? Because I don't know that everybody knows. Can we talk about that?
Yes. So you see, I'm repping Houston Tillotson University. Go Rams! Because last week, sweet baby TJ, which I don't know if I can call him that anymore. He was in Fences, the play Fences, who, we remember Denzel when Denzel did Fences. Ooh, Tony Award-winning play.
Yeah. James Earl Jones initially. James Earl Jones originally, just so you know.
James Earl Jones.
I mean, you're talking about
was the original.
Yes.
History, legacy. I mean, this is a classic play talking about just one Black family's struggle and something that happened. And it's deep. Like everything happens in the second act. And we had to sit there with the woman, smacked my son open hand in the face, and I couldn't take it. And then he
Yeah.
died. Like, it was a lot. And his girlfriend was there, and we were like, have you been here all 3 shows? She was like, this one, I swear I thought he was going to have a handprint on his face. He did so good. And there was so many words. And the things that he said, it was like, there were so many.
Words.
And I was just like, oh, please stop. Like, stop. You know, because he goes in and he's talking to he's just such a larger than life character. And
Yes.
he has some choice feelings. And
it's a heavy show.
It's very heavy. You know, we had to go through the character, you know, has this job. He wanted to be an athlete and wasn't able to. He had resentment towards that. He, you know, had alcohol problem. He cheated on his wife. He beat his kids and didn't show love. Like, and I was like, Todd, you didn't give him inspiration for that scene, right? That wasn't you, right? I'm like, I mean, he had to dig.
Has a lot of resentment.
And it was when you sat on stage. So the way that they did it was in the round, and in every act,
I didn't know it was in the round.
Oh. Yes, so you're sitting around like this, and there was one fence, and then the next scene they put up another fence. And by the end, they had the whole fence. They had fences, and some of it was funny because sweet baby TJ forgot to tell Todd that he was going to take his saw for one of the parts.
Oh, well. I was like, I don't remember any nudity. That's what I thought you were about to say, is that he had to take his clothes off. I'll be like, nope, that's a different kind of fences.
No. But yeah.
It's bam, bam, chicka, bow, bow.
Bam, chicka, wow, wow. But it was great. And it was a struggle. I mean, it was the same time during holiday and finals. Like,
that's a lot, really.
One day he called me and he was like, Mom, like, if you want to come early, which he never. And I was like, are you okay? He was like, yeah, I'm okay. Because he's studying to be a teacher, and he does in-class teaching for on Fridays. So we had to go be Troy, then go teach school like a lesson plan, then go be Troy again, and then see us. But it was. Is
it recorded? Do you know? Was it recorded?
They did record it, and they had some scenes. And I will tell you, I'll find it. If I do it, I'll link. But when I saw it was on Instagram, the scene where he like is fighting with his wife, and I almost lost it. And I was like, I'm so glad that was on Instagram, because I don't think if I would have seen that for the first time.
It's heavy. This is a heavy.
Is heavy.
You're talking, I mean, if you've seen the movie, it's Denzel, it's Viola Davis. I mean, come on.
Oh, man.
Come on.
You cannot get a better cast than that.
And if you've not seen the movie, I mean, you know, I'm a little sweet on her. Just the physicality of it. I mean, I just so moved, like when she's crying and then her nose is running. I mean, I know this seems very small, but to just be like ugly cry, like, it's so raw.
With her whole body.
Oh, gosh.
Her whole body. And it was funny. So it's funny because, you know, you're expecting people to speak a certain way, and what the character that played his wife kind of talked like I do, kind of. And it made me laugh. It wasn't funny, but it made me laugh because she was talking that whole time. And then you realize how deep it was for her to speak in that particular voice. And she was like, she's dead. And I was just like,
I'm telling you.
Everybody in the audience gasped, and you felt like you were fully a part of it. If you haven't seen it, it's I
was just going to say that. Can you really look to see if you can find a link to it? I mean, and pop it in the chat afterwards, even just.
And I know they recorded it. And so another thing to know is that the theater club, it shut down. And they hadn't had a theater club. Houston-Tillotson is a very small campus, 1,000 students, and it keeps growing and growing. And so they brought back the theater club on their own. So the school
Wow.
production was done by students on their own. They picked
That's
it. They
awesome.
didn't have, anybody from the school. They put it together. And it was amazing to see everybody who came to be a part of this. One of the kids couldn't be in it anymore. And so they called it a reading. So they allowed them to have their scripts with them because somebody, over the holiday got sick or wasn't able to participate.
Oh,
And it was
man.
like, and they did so good. Look who's here. It's Rating Kitty Couples.
I know hi, Rachel. We've got some fun. Jackye and Wendy and Joe. I saw you first thing. Mandy, so good to see you all. Thanks for being here. We are predictions oriented because what would a year end show be without predictions?
Well, and we should let people know that we're going to be taking the next 2 weeks off.
Yes, Wendy, thank you for that. She's reading my mind. I was going to say there may be, if Jackye shares a link, there may be a cost to it. The school may be obviously looking for support in that way, and especially knowing that it is a student-run club, that wouldn't be surprising. So definitely.
Yes.
Oh, that's my school. That's my neph. That's my school. Look who's here.
Oh,
Look who's here.
Listen.
Uncle Happiness. Good to see you. Good morning.
Uncle Happiness.
That's Sean wants you to run a full marathon. That's his first prediction for 2025.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sean, you may get booted out of this.
In the year 2000.
I told Jackye I was going to play this song, but then it's not really like an up-tempo-ish kind of song to start with. But anybody remember the year 2525? I don't even know who sang that. In the year 2525, right? Like it was the closest kind of song to 2025, like something I was trying to find, right? This next year, it's going to be, I think it's going to be really interesting. That's such a cheeseball word, but I really do think it's going to be interesting because I don't know that we really know how the economy is going to respond.
No,
I don't necessarily mean that I think we're in for collapse. I don't know, but I'm so curious to see how the economy responds.
I have no idea. I think that is one of the things that we can talk about. But here's what I think. I feel like there is going to be a program and some recruiting tech that's going to offer recruiting as a service that has no humans next year.
Oh my gosh, yes. So there's one. Are people going to be willing to spend money on tech?
And somebody's going to get sued because somebody's going to do something stupid next year. How about that?
Now, I know you're directly in tech, so I'm going to say this without you. You don't have to respond because I don't want it to necessarily be that your company feels like you're talking about them. My experience as the HR consultant extraordinaire that I am.
Exactly. The wheeze. Have you thought about seeing a doctor for that wheeze you got? Is that from all that smoking those Candice cigarettes?
So anyway, what I seen this year is
I was there with the lion.
My gosh, it just comes right out of me. Like
it's natural.
HR technology as a whole in 2024, I would say the purchase of was down. Those companies, organizations buying HR tech. That's not to say some companies haven't had a good year. That's not what I'm saying. Right. Overall is what I'm saying. Across all HR technology, more organizations have shared that they are down for 2024 than the year before. So that they're really banking on a desired or hoped for bump up for next year. They're really hoping, like to your point, what do I have to invent myself to be in order to be attractive now to the marketplace for next year? Is it completely like AI, no people? Is that going to be what I should market? Like, I think they're trying to figure that out.
I think it's autonomous. I think there is going to be a point of it with that, but then also the great resignation is over. It is over.
I totally agree.
And so I think that we're going to see a lot more of that, of management tools, understanding more management, and we're going to make a shift from skills-based hiring to retention and employee experience and leveling up, because you're not going to be. I didn't do that. I did not.
I just want to be super clear. Sean is my friend, so this is how you know. This is how you know.
It shows love. Just like my father. You're just like my father.
Dirty dog. Dirty dog.
I think that's going to happen. I don't know. I really want. People do have to change. I mean, I was looking at. I'm going to be working on a reboot of this article that I wrote 10 years ago. That's how to be a badass recruiter, because it's totally out of sorts. Like it talks about walking people on site, making sure that they're like dressed. And now, who cares? Nobody cares about stuff like that anymore.
No, and I think it's interesting because obviously some types of industries still have to care, but many do not. To your point, it's not quite the same. But that, and I love what Joe wrote as well, like how people will deal with each other is something to look at next year. And that is going to be influenced, I think. And I think we're still reaping some of the results of a distributed workforce. What has that done to sort of that ability to help humans connect with one another and respond to one another? What do we have to do to sort of help? I've got, I just was in a meeting yesterday because I teach some courses online and here and there, and some are in person and some are online. And I'm kind of frustrated with the online courses. I have to tell you, as an instructor, I have had 25, 30, 35 people on an 8-hour instruction, never turn a camera on, never turn the mic on. They're typing in the chat to show that they're engaged. I'm not saying that they're just sitting there doing nothing, but it's really hard as an instructor to have like that be the only way. Because if I was standing in a classroom setting or presenting, right, a session, I'm seeing people, we're laughing about, there's an interaction that's a little bit more natural. It's tough to do 8 hours just talking like this and nobody, like I don't see a soul.
That is tough.
Right?
And the curriculum has changed too. The way that people are absorbing information, like with I love on YouTube chapters. I love how you can go to chapters, but people's like appetite for this stuff is so small. It's like when you see a class, it used to be, it's 20 minutes and then a break, or 15 minutes. Now it's literally 2 minutes. Then see if you obtained it.
Right. And by the way, Joe said, "Welcome to my world every day," right? With what he does. Joe, I think of you almost every day. And I know that sounds
Zoom, right?
That's like a bit uncomfortable that I said that out loud and it's recorded for all of eternity. I do think of you almost every day, Joe. Promise. Because of that kind of video-based existence, right? In the core of work that you do. But Jackye, just what you said though made me think, I don't know if you saw, it may have been yesterday actually. Our BFF, Tim Sackett, reposted something, a one-sheeter on everything. It wasn't his. He reposted it from somewhere else. A one-sheeter on everything you need to know about human resources. And he labeled it like HR learning for Gen Z. Just want everything concise in a one-sheeter with some graphic design on it. It's a robust one-sheeter. I'm not saying there's not a lot of info on it, but it is a one-sheeter on. I'm like, okay, well, I've been doing this 30 some years. Let me get all that on one sheet of paper with some.
I have my SHRM study guide, and it's like 800 pages. It's 800 pages.
If anybody who follows Tim Sackett, he had to be yesterday, if not this morning. It's crazy to see, we've got micro learning, like super micro learning.
It's all we can take. It's all because we get so much information. Like I can't imagine going back to school right now because the distractions are huge. It's everything. You have to think of everything. I find myself like looking around, like looking in like the Zoom, recognizing like, oh, are they at home? Or is that, what kind of plant is that? Like what's going, like everything is like distracting, you know? So it's like, how do you get people to focus?
Right.
Have you noticed? And like
Yes.
in people's backgrounds now are like completely, like it's weird the things that we have to do in order to make this.
I just wonder. So I know we've got more organizations, at least publicly, right? We're seeing more organizations ask for people to return to the office, return to a work site. I don't think we have enough numbers to know what that percentage is. I know that some of the big ones have caused the stir, right? But I can't help but wonder, and I know that I'm not super popular with some of this, but I can't help but wonder if some of that is still connected to the human element of things, building relationship, having multiple veins of communication, because we limit it when we're completely distributed. When those folks are chatting with me, I want to make sure that I say this: they're chatting wonderful things. It's not that I don't understand what they're doing and that I don't respond to it. It's just one mode of communication. They're typing thoughts to me. That's it. I don't see their faces, their expressions, their body language. I'm not seeing laughter because sometimes I tell jokes. Sometimes one person once in a while will laugh. I like to see that person laughing. It's good for my self-esteem.
But I do think we're going to see the flexibility, and we're going to see people offering things as a service, HR as a service, and I'm not talking about outsource. I'm talking about hiring for a particular need and then saying goodbye. Like I'm not talking about a TriNet. I'm talking about, we need you to come in to deal with this situation, maybe to work on one case and not the, why would we talk about, not the TriNet, not the PEO. You don't make that face. They are
French toast this morning. Sorry, it's just coming back up on me a little bit.
but you're gross. You are so gross.
I think about you daily as well, which doesn't surprise you, but I think about you daily as well, because one of the other things that I'm very curious about for next year, and I think I have a prediction, is the level of commitment to inclusivity in organizations and how that will be connected to the development of rapport and relationship, the intentional focus on rapport and relationship. And my prediction is the companies that put, I'm going to say, their money where their mouth is, if they really believe in inclusion, are really going to make a commitment into how to help people build rapport and relationship, because we have a fractured workforce that isn't sure how to do it.
No, I have said, and again, not very popular, I think a majority of the work that we've done before is going to become illegal and outlawed. It's going to be like burning books. Like you're not going to be able to do it. Right now, there is a bill that's on the floor to say that if you are putting any underrepresented group that is getting support, that they can be listed as a terrorist group. And as such, I'm not kidding.
Oh, in federal? On the floor when you say federal court. I mean, Congress.
Meaning anybody who, like women's groups, LGBTQ, people with disabilities, any marginalized group that they rally behind and try to like segment out for support can be labeled as a terrorist group. They're already talking about what they're going to be doing to the ACLU. I think our civil liberties are going to be bad. I think something really bad is going to happen and it's going to make people wake up. And I don't know if it's going to happen year 1, year 4, year 6, but it's already happening. The treatment is already happening. We have made it okay to allow bad actors to move forward. And I don't know. I have to look it up because I wrote it down, the name of the bill and what we were looking. And it is going to be, I think people are going to be able, like they're trying to protect themselves. I think some of this is going to be outlawed and people are going to put it past and people are going to allow it to happen. The allies are gone. They're gone. They were never there and they're gone. And they're too busy trying to protect themselves because we're looking at that. I'm not going to call it any particular, but I think that's something that we have to be aware of.
So, and I would say, so now how do we look at 2025? If in fact, the light of what you just shared is the way that we start to see things moving, right? Whether this particular bill gets passed or not. By the way, just for everyone's edification, the amount of stuff that is put on the Senate floor, the House floor, will astound you if you really went to look to see how many bills. It's insanity. The amount that doesn't get passed, it's crazy because of how much comes on there. So I just want to make sure that context.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of various bills, hundreds of bills. And a lot of it goes around education.
Yes. Yeah.
And
education.
So yeah, a lot of it has to do with that. But there are ones that are.
But I think organizations are still going to be probably at the forefront of how do we lean into a business case around the equitable treatment of one another without, if we do have to go so far as you're describing in terms of not calling out groups in a particular way, we can still lean into inclusive workplace considerations. That's not ever going to be illegal. How do we make sure individuals, I just want to, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying if that winds up happening, everyone, and I have no idea, we are still going to have to find a way forward. And I think we're never going to get in trouble for being thoughtful of an individual, right?
I feel like it has always been, this is one of the things that I think is really important. So I'm going to put it in the chat.
Thanks, Mandy. By the way, Mandy shared congress.gov. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. That's where it is. That's where it is. The
Thanks, Mandy.
So that's what I was about to put in there. So I think that there are still people that were doing it, but I think it's terrifying. The thing is, it's like trying to figure out who, even if it's there, what are we going to do? What liberties or how are we going to protect those people that are doing that? Right? Like, I'm not trying to be a doomsday prepper. I just think that it's going to be important that we, make sure that people understand that inclusion is for everyone. And we do have to do that, but we are trying to make it what is going to happen. And I hope that people understand this. Like, part of the reason this is so important to get through is that you can't do your best work if you're living in fear.
Sure. 100%.
Right. 100%. And for a couple of weeks, and people who know me know that I read a lot of political nonfiction. I look at politics like a sport. And for a while, I turned it all off. And I was like, I still need to know what's happening and what's going on. So this is a great site. But I think for those, we're going to need allies to actually step up, because it's trying to understand who is going to be safe. And I think that we're going to see various levels of, we're going to see not dismantling of DEIB, but I do think it'll be dismantled of having all of those things together, of calling it diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I think all of those initials need to be split up. And I make a prediction that people are going to be doing that more and more.
I think so. And I do agree with that. And I think you'll see more of that next year for sure. And on the political side, I would add, because I think, Jackye, you just shared the link right to that bill. Thank you.
Yes.
The other thing that it's in the chat if everybody hasn't noticed it. The other thing that I will say, though, is which honestly happens more than people realize, that it's the non-direct bills. that contain information that's not labeled as such, right? So this particular bill is labeled in a particular way. It's very clear to search it, to find it, to look to see what people are thinking about. Totally. What winds up happening though, for honestly, for most things like this, there's some other bill that's on the floor. Something almost seems like it's not even connected in any way. And as it goes through these committees, right, they add these things in.
Because this will be like, oh, it's because of DEIB that we don't have Social Security. Like they tie things together. Like we'll do free lunches as long as you no longer do this. Or I mean, it's so messy.
Right. Nikki just said the same thing. Right. They're always sneaking stuff into the bills.
And so it's hard to know.
It is hard. You got to read it. And these things are long.
And I know a lot of people are like, I want to pull back and I want to withdraw and I don't want to participate. You got to dig deeper.
Yes.
Because otherwise, don't let something happen to you. You know, it's like, we have an opportunity of making a difference. And I do think that this is all, there are things that are going to affect all of us and we can't predict some of that. But I can tell you what, everybody who works in a people space, it's going to get harder.
For sure. And it's interesting that we're talking about this whole political thing, because I will also say, I'm making a prediction, we should be thoughtful about reading these things also, in as much as we've already heard alluded to, tariffs, raw material reconsiderations for import, export, that will have a direct impact for sure on some organizations that are even represented here or are watching this later on. But the ripple effect of that, I think, will also come back into our kind of work infrastructure. You may not be in an organization, let's say, that's producing technology or producing a particular product that needs materials from China or something like that. You better pay attention.
Yes.
Because your company right.
I mean,
better pay attention.
One of the things that I don't know if anybody's traveled, I know that it is it's speaking from a pure place of privilege of being able to do international travel. But one of the things that we have done as a country has become a completely disposable country. Like, it's amazing when we were in England and it's like, oh, this building has been here since 10, 11. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, I was like, there was a rocket went off in McGregor. I got a crack in my foundation. Like, it's about to fall over. And this building has literally been here for, 10,000 years. Okay, maybe not. 1,000 years.
It was like that when Kathy and I went to Italy.
Right.
Same thing. You're walking around. You're like, really? This is a Byzantine church. And you're like, how could it still be here?
And it has to do, like, I understand when wanting to get things like cost, but some of the things that they're talking about, it's at a cost. And we are going to have to pay. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it'll flush itself out. I don't know
either, but I'm going to say, from a prediction standpoint, if it is something to watch for in the job market, because if the cost of materials goes up, if you're importing from somewhere else, that's going to affect your bottom line when it comes to your organization. Likely, you're going to try to do more with less. And the biggest liability almost every time is your cost of labor on a P&L. Right. So they're going to lay people off and ask people who remain to do more. Yeah.
You have choices of the things that you can do and what you support. I mean, one of the hardest things that happened this past week was me and Todd said bye to Tito's vodka. Ooh. In favor of Belvedere. I know. So we were like, no, we're not going to get Tito's vodka.
So we should probably say this, though. Let's be clear, because this will be watched afterwards. If you are part of the Tito's organization, I would start looking for another job, because that's a direct hit to your top line revenue.
Yes, I would just want to tell Tito's, people that work at Tito's, I'm sorry.
That's right. I just took your entire future from you.
Your entire future went down the drain with a little pineapple and a little cranberry. But I mean,
we are kidding.
Yeah, kidding. So we switched to Belvedere.
That is shocking, though. Why?
It is because of the donations, the political donations. It's like I funded that,
Yeah.
and so we wanted to change it in a different direction. And it's like we forget about how does this all go down? We don't trace these things anymore.
Right.
Most of us don't even know like where our clothes come from, where, you know, we were kidding last week, like, doesn't all food come from the grocery store? I was in California and I like ordered a like watermelon margarita because it was on. I hate him
this
so much.
disclaimer. I mean,
him.
Jamie is killing me. Killing
But
me.
if you have any vodka that you'd like for me to try,
Although we are happy to be a Belvedere.
I would love Belvedere to be a sponsor, and I feel like we should have a vodka tasting party, and there's only one requirement: free. That will be the first requirement.
And we do after the vodka one is a huge success, bourbon must follow.
I think we should have a tasting for all of our viewers, and we can have matching shirts. Wouldn't that be fun?
Language is bourbon. I think that'd be really
and
fun.
Then diamonds.
We could do it like the next on-site that we do when But First Coffee is on the road next year.
We'll do that.
We can totally do that.
That'd be fun.
Jamie's got connections.
Jamie is everything.
He knows. One other prediction. Gosh, we are flying through these. One other prediction that I have for next year does have to do with recruiting, and I'm curious to see what you think too. Not just the technology piece that you talked about, right? Like I can totally see that there might be offerings where you don't ever talk to a person, right? You're going to do this whole process and then get to your first day of work, and here you are finally meeting someone. I also think what it looks like for us to hunt for people is going to change even more so. I think if you're involved with sourcing, if you haven't already experienced it, I think next year is for sure the end of the trail for how we understand sourcing. I think it is finalizing by mid next year.
And I hate this for people. When we were talking about how AI is not going to replace people, it's going to replace people who understand AI, right? If you have to have a presence on social.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a standalone site, because that's where people are looking. You have these recruiters. Listen, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm on the TikTok. They listen to this fool who's been doing this for like 4 years. Probably has never met a candidate in their life, giving people hiring advice. And they have people, a whole company. I almost fell out. This girl started a whole company. She's on there like, well, we get the top people that come. Like literally, they just come to us and then we find them jobs. I was like, what is actually happening? You're going to have to be part of that. And you have to be active and understand how these socials. I know I've been driving John crazy and Katie crazy because I've been snapping these bites and clips with all of our stuff. P.S.
No, I love it.
Do you know how many episodes we had, John?
How many?
88. We're going to have our 100th episode this year.
And we're going to have a partay. That'll be vodka and bourbon.
Hey, like this.
Let me tell you something, by the way. When you do those snippets,
yeah.
And Jamie, I know you've done some too. Like, people love that. I love these little clips. Through the roof. And you know who did it this week? I don't know if you saw George LaRock, who I know is not here with us this morning, but George has done that this week too with Work Tech. Through the roof. Like everyone wants these bite-sized pieces.
Amazing. And the ones that I think are so funny, nobody watches. The ones that I think are so silly, people are just off the charts.
The one that you sent me, I was like separately wetting my pants laughing.
I sent one. It was the one where we had the Titans, whatever, of HR when Jamie made the song on that episode. And we were talking about AI knowing me. And then Wheezy, a.k.a. John Baldino,
Total
The
wheeze.
wheeze gets me every time.
I mean, I can't, I mean, it's funny, you know, especially as I've gotten older, the wheeze has gotten stronger. And that's my dad. My
It
dad would do the wheeze as well. And I'm like, I don't know how it happened, but all of a sudden I'm
You've got a
fully
full
there with it. I was crying with what you sent me. But it is a great example of coming back to bite-sized information. That's where people are still. But this sourcing bit, it is also micro as well. I used the term headhunter last week with someone, and it took me a second to realize, like, it just came right out of my mouth. And the person I was talking to was like,
they'd never heard of it before.
What is headhunting? Is that what you just said? And I
We
was
don't
like,
hunt heads anymore. We do not hunt heads.
Right. I was like, oh, excuse me, passive sourcing. You know,
the other part, I mean, this is not popular.
Yes.
But you've got to get yourself to understand how to do it. And we're going to be seeing, we were at skills. We're going to over-architect on skills, and people are going to be sourcing for persona. Right?
This job persona, and Rachel, I love that Rachel is here because Rachel knows this idea of traditional job description, cut and paste over to Indeed. Come on, y'all. It's just, and I don't mean, I'm not hating on Indeed. Everybody relax, but this is just not going to do it. Like,
let me tell you something that I did. And you and I, we've been in this space for so long. We're hiring a salesperson. Inside, I added 5 questions. How many years have I said, don't add questions, make it easier and seamless? Now we have to make it harder for people to apply just to even make sure it's a real person.
Right. Right.
I literally, this is funny. Rachel will appreciate this. And I miss you so much, Rachel, especially right now. Literally, I went back into the notes because I saw something come back and it was like, do not email. I was like, what? Like, it was literally because it was a robot that had applied before it. It was like, this is a real person. And it was in the notes, you know, somebody put it in the notes. But it's like,
I've had, so at Humoriso, obviously we've been doing some hiring as well. And it's all out there correctly. The filters are in terms of like, hey, this is, you know, US based position that we're looking to fill, XYZ, hybrid this, whatever. So I'm getting applications, right, on the active side from all over the world, because it's just this crawling thing that's out there applying from all over the world, and then reading, let me air quote, reading the job description, seeing it, and then trying to tell me, you know, yes, I'm in Palm Bay, Florida. I'm in, you know, Edison, New Jersey. And I'm like, you're not there. I can see the IP. If I go back further, we can find the IP address and stuff as well to know you're in Bangalore. This is coming from some, like, this is a problem. Like, we really are going to wind up wasting a whole lot of time, to your point.
We are. And we have to dig down. And let me tell you something else. And, you know, I love LinkedIn.
You and our BFF Robin loves LinkedIn. Loves LinkedIn.
They did something more recently with their AI. And so when it says that you're qualified for a job, they ask you if you would like to be more qualified for the job and add some various pieces, and they can help enhance your resume. And then you're uploading your resume, and it's a LinkedIn resume. And I know that you had to enhance it. So it's going back. It doesn't update your profile.
No.
And so it's like, wait a minute.
Yes.
There's going to be this is what I predict. There's going to be a tech bias and an algorithm aversion process where the bias is going to be, this was not made by a human. I'm not talking to the candidate. There is going to be huge backlash against people using the AI. and people are going to want to talk to the people who makes it obvious that it's not AI. Somebody, when my posts started going up on LinkedIn is when I kept a typo in. And now I just keep typos so people know it's not written by AI, because AI don't have no typos.
Yes. And Jamie mentioned we need an all new CAPTCHA. Like, have you seen the more
I don't even know.
Ones? It's crazy.
Now you see all the fingerprints now on your Mac, like all of those things where they're making you do that face recognition
the rotated imaging,
biometrics. Right? Thanks, Jamie.
How are we the rotate? It's not just like which ones have traffic lights.
Right
now, which one is this image at 90 degrees, at 180 degrees?
Like turn it, make this head like.
I have to tell you, it's not because I didn't understand the directions. I just am not always good at that. I have failed that CAPTCHA because I was like,
me too. I'm like,
I think this is the one that's 45.
I have my glasses and I'm like, I don't remember. What?
And then it's like incorrect. And I'm like, no, I swear I'm a person. Let me in. I can't.
I think I have to put all of my head things. I had this blonde hair on top of my head and I got to put it all up to be able to get in there.
I mean, y'all, you should see this behind the scenes chat with Jamie. He's fighting.
He can't help himself.
He cannot help himself because it says like find the images of the bus and you click them on. And it's like, no, this one was.
And they're like, this is not a bus. Listen,
this is not a bus.
3 times. They're like, that is not a cat. That's a tiger. It's like really jacked up. I hate it. And I'm like, you know what? AARP magazine, forget you.
Hey, I will tell you what stresses me out the most in that. What stresses me out the most is when it's a full image that's partitioned into squares and it says
on the tire.
And you're like, well, is this, it's only got a little bit of the bike in this one. Should I click? This is what I'm got. And now I'm like, I don't need anxiety to try to get into your website. Right. What you doing to me? Why?
You know what else I think we're going to see next year? We're going to see like more capture swag. Like when we go to these conferences and stuff where they're going to be capturing more data. And I'm scared that they're going to have more of that programmatic advertising that is scarily specific in the recruiting process. Like they're going to fully see us on Broadway, come to our seat and recruit for a job. Like
it's so scary.
Because let's talk, we're not a political show, right? We're not.
We're not.
This past week, everything that happened with the CEO of United Healthcare is a tragic situation, and the story behind it is absolutely horrible. But what we aren't talking about is how this person knew this person was going to be at this place at this time, and how when you open it up to hate and anger and people are frustrated and feel like we're divisive, what that does to people's mentality and the lengths that people will go to. It's just
extremism happens on both sides of the aisle.
That's right. And it usually starts with finding out I'm a member of the Hallmark cult, as most people know. I've been watching Christmas movies since July. I don't even know I love Christmas. Hallmark knows exactly what I like. They know I love and I love the brand. They know how to target me. And I know other people are like that, whether it's sports teams or this. Yes. And we're going to start building community because we are remote and people do want to have that connection, but they are getting into these micro spaces. They don't want to be a member of the Moms Club. They want to be Moms Yoga 3-year-olds who eat broccoli club. They narrow all these.
That's a very specific club. But that's a great call out. I think if you are, our audience is pretty diverse. I mean that not just in self-identifying characteristics, but I also mean it even in career. Not every single person who is watching us is in human resources in some way, shape, or form, or talent acquisition. I know it's a lot, but it's not every single person. So if you are thinking about organizational brand marketing, if you're thinking about general to the public marketing, what Jackie's just saying, you have to jump on that specificity coming into next year if you haven't already. You got to jump on it because that's who you're going to be competing against. SEO is not what SEO once was at all. At all. And so it is important for you to kind of jump in and know, how are we going to target to those candidates that we're looking to attract? How are we going to get to the buyers of a particular service or product that our company offers? It's not just, let me post 3 times a day on whatever platform you're using, social media. It's not the same as it was. So you're going to have to really figure out the specificity that she's talking about, for sure.
You do. And you have to work out, because unfortunately, I think that we're going to see a little bit of suppressed innovation. I have been seeing multiples, and it's whoever gets there fast, don't.
I'm sorry. I just have to, because I adore him. I thought of you the other day because a comedian popped up on my reels, and it was a female comedian who was talking about her husband, who sat with her to watch a Hallmark movie. And about 3 or 4 minutes into it, he turned to her and said, "Didn't we see this one already?" And like the whole audience is like cracking up. And she had this whole tirade response of how different this particular one was from anything that they'd ever seen. This one, the love interest is already a princess. The other one, she didn't know yet that she was a princess. Like,
different.
Totally different.
I do think we're going to see some new experts, which I appreciate. I feel like it's so easy now. We have so much information that we're going to see, I hope we can see that, but I feel like it's just you have to reach out and find these, make sure you understand how to use this to find and learn something new. Because if you just allow it to happen, it's just going to bring you the things that have brought you joy up to this point, and you're not going to learn new things.
Can we, and I know we're wrapping up.
Engineer.
Can I say this about prediction for next year? On a personal note, right? I think for everyone, hopefully still listening, I see a prediction next year that joy will be the currency over happiness.
Say that again.
I think next year, joy is going to be the currency over happiness.
Yes, I agree.
We have to advocate for that as well. That has to be something we do, because the happiness quotient is too unstable. And I think people are struggling because of how unstable happiness is. We've got to be an ally as well for joy.
Yes.
This is a mental health crisis. This is a personal security crisis. We've got to help people see what a state of being in joy, even when things are hard.
That's right. And celebrate and acknowledgement, because we need to take those wins. We have to take them as they come. I agree with you. I also predict that I go gray. I'm getting my hair done next week. I was thinking, should I get rid of the long and go gray?
Like silvery gray. That's, you look great in every color hair. Honestly, it's super annoying.
I make a prediction that, I don't know, I go gray. Maybe I shave it all off. I used to be bald. It's a whole vibe.
I mean, and my mother was like, good, I'll get her in the last 30 seconds. My mother was like, I love the blonde on Jackye. She is so funny, so nice. That I was like, well, that's nice. I'm on the show as well, Mom. I just want to make sure that you know.
I wish that you would allow your mom, maybe we can do it live from her house. Terrifying. Come on.
Love you, Mom. Y'all, listen, we are going to be off for the next couple of weeks. There'll be some rebroadcasts. We're going to be off in the next couple of weeks for a holiday break for us. The plan is our return on January 2nd. So take a look at that.
Don't worry, because we'll have 900 shorts.
You won't be sick, missing us. You'll be sick of us, because we're going to have a whole lot going out. So Love you all. We wish you joy for this holiday season and into 2025.
We have a theme song now.
I don't know what this is, but here it goes.
I like it.